The issue
what's the goal that you've been given? I'm sure Hans or Dave or someone said, hey, Alan, I need XYZ. What's the goal you've been given? Well, just get it to start?
Get it to see if I can run it and move it around.
All right.
So it's sad because this looks like a really nice foundation of a machine. I mean, we have maybe 1.25-inch plate steel as the frame on this. Oh, look at that fender. We got 2 pieces. That's just solid steel. Got a nice footprint. Decent paint job. Nice forks. The rams look halfway decent. It actually looks like a good machine, and so I'm going to take a quick look and see what we got. First thing I just noticed is somebody's got a U-bolt where there should be a big bolt. Small problem, but just noticed. So we're going to just look through and see what we all got. Looks like we got a few cut cable right there. Everything seems to be mostly there. But this is something that looks bad. The air cleaner intake has been removed off this unit, and there is a direct vertical line from the sky down to the intake of this diesel engine. And I don't know how long that has been off, but if that's been off for not too long and there's water, this thing could be all full of water, dirt, and everything, and that would basically make this toast. Then I happen to make another look here, and what do I see flopping around right here? I don't think it normally comes this way. So on my initial look, it seems to me the belts go basically here, and we're missing an alternator. It looks like an alternator goes probably right here. I have no idea what the size or the shape of it. Not looking good at this time. Looking down, without the alternator, the belts are not going to be running the water pump. Let's see if the water pump turns. And the water pump is completely seized up. That's not a good sign. Yeah, this thing is turning out to be, will it start to, will we replace the engine? So come around, let's keep looking at it. Seems like it has a hydraulic pump on it still. Still got the lower radiator hose.
I want to take a moment to talk to you guys about the Connecteam app. They're today's sponsor, and this is more generated for those who are managing a company, or they're the owners of their company, or they're just trying to manage their business. What's really hard about being in a shop, a lot of these guys are out here non-stop. They're not at a computer, they're not doing anything there to manage their time to see, hey, what holidays do we have off? What's the schedule this week? Do I have any specific tasks for this week? What do I need to get done? And what's really hard is in a normal corporate job, everyone's got emails, you're able to communicate, you're able to send a blast out, and yeah, you can try to do a group text and stuff like that, but not a lot of people respond to those things. But what I love about the Connecteam app is it's given the opportunity for all our guys to hop in there and manage it themselves, see what they need to do. They're able to be in the know of what's happening in the company. I don't know if you know this yet, but I'm kind of the guy that's at the desk. I'm coming in and out of here. I'm not the normal shop guy, right? So if I'm going to Iram and telling him, and then he's telling everyone else, I'm just doing word of mouth, and communication gets lost and distorted, and we miss someone and everything. That's where Connecteam comes in and helps solve a lot of those problems. And what's amazing about it is I was skeptical at first, but they said if you have anyone or up to 10 people, it's free. So if you have an organization that's up to 10 people and below, it's absolutely free, and there's no credit card that you have to put on. So I tested it out, and it was awesome. Use it for up to 10 people. After I loved it, sweet, I'm gonna try it out. And I got a 14-day trial period, put in my credit card after that, and I kept going. You're going to get the same offer. If you have up to 10 people, it's absolutely free. Test it out. You don't have to take my word for it, but you should, because it's a freaking awesome app. If you have over 10 people, use our link below right here. You get a 14-day free trial period, no credit card needed. They trust their product product that much because it's that awesome. You don't have to put a credit card, you don't have to sign a contract, you don't have to do anything. It's 14 days free. Test it out, see if it works for your organization. I'm sure it will. Go get the Connecteam app right now. Easy to set up, easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Ooh, more interesting stuff that isn't here. We have some sort of pump here without a pulley. It's missing a pulley. Looks like it's probably an air pump, maybe to run the brakes. So it looks like we're missing a pulley that goes on this air pump and the belt, which goes to this, whatever this is, which seems to be solidly stuck. It's a little bit of slop in there, but I can hear it tapping on something inside the engine and not turning. That's not a good sign either. Looking down, I see a starter motor, but I don't see any wires going to it. They're all cut. This is from that where Sparks purchased all the equipment from up in Colville. More stuff than we know what to do with. We are completely packed with various pieces of equipment. So this thing is, I'm guessing, is not going to be running very soon. So probably I got like two things I'm going to be looking at, is seeing if I can get the main crank to turn, and then I want to look down the intake and see if there's anything in the intake of this Detroit engine. If I can't get the main crank to turn, that will be the end. So I'm gonna have to do some looking. Now what I want to do first, well, it doesn't look too bad down there. I don't see any puddles, I don't see any dirt, I don't see any birds' nests. So that's a good sign. I need to check to make sure this engine even turns. So I am gonna come around on this other side here, and I'm gonna first try to pull it by hand. I tend to hold on to the fan belt and then try to rotate it. And I can't get it to move. And I decided to grab a battery here and hook up the starter, since somebody has cut all the wires to the starter. So I've put a positive wire on it, and I got a ground. And I want to see if we can get this thing to turn. My key. An old beat up screwdriver. So let's see if we can get this thing to turn. So I've got to hook this to that. Well, that is a good sign. So that means we're not dealing with a seized engine. So the next thing I want to try, I want to make sure that my shutoff works. That's a shutoff, and then this is a throttle. Let's see if we can start this thing with ether, because I don't know if it will start in this in two different places at the same time. That's good. It actually fires, and it fires pretty good. It didn't require much. So the biggest issue is we just got some parts missing. Somebody's taken them. We're missing an air compressor pulley, but I'm not really worried too much about that. This thing should operate without it. But the biggest thing is we're missing an alternator completely. So I do not know what size alternator. The other thing is the water pump seems to be frozen. Let's see if we can give it a little bit of a help. We got our water pump here, and you can see from the belts, the alternator's missing, and that will not turn. But if I tap it, try to keep turning, get it to break free. I might have to put a pipe up. There we go. Okay, so we got it broken free. Whether or not it's good or not, we won't know until after we get this thing running. But it seems to be moving pretty freely. Probably the fan blades had some like rust in there and just been sitting. So that means it's dry, which means we're going to probably have to find out if we need to add some coolant to this. And the biggest issue is the alternator, because we need to be able to run that water pump if this engine's going to turn at any length of time. I think I will put a switch here, just an on and off switch, and then a push button right here.
I want to find an alternator for you so we can test all that out.
Guess who I called to
Boys.
check on that for it? No.
Ron. Bud.
What's the name? What's the brand of this?
Richard. Case.
No, look at the back. Back.
Wiggins?
Yeah.
You called Wiggins?
I called Wiggins.
Does Wiggins, this is going to be an ignorant question, does Wiggins exist still?
Oh yes,
Okay.
and they make actually new stuff too. But the guy I talked with says that the, what do you call it, the serial number and the model number doesn't match up in their database. They keep like a list of the stuff they have, but for some strange reason, and that data plate that I showed you the weight on it is actually a Wiggins data plate. For some reason, they don't have a record of this model being made, even though they made it. However, I gave them on the other side of the engine, if you look on the other side of the engine here,
Yeah.
you'll see something really cool, and I really love it. Look at the valve cover. Look at all that information on the side of that valve cover.
Yeah.
It even gives part numbers to all the various pieces, water pump and stuff, except for the alternator. I don't know why they left the alternator off it, but then they give our serial and model number of the engine and everything.
That's awesome.
So what they're looking at right now is taking the engine serial number and model number and see what frame type alternator fits this. And that will be that'll be the easiest way, because we could always make our own brackets if we have to.
Right.
We're basically going to get an answer from Detroit, whether or not they can do it or not. It's a yes or a no. And if it's a no,
Right.
then we'll just
we'll do what
find
we
ourselves
do
an alternator.
best.
Basically, it would be any type of alternator.
Okay.
I mean, this thing has no computers or things. It doesn't use electric to run. The only time you'd have electric is maybe to beep the horn or turn the lights on. So just a regular alternator would work on it. But there's also an issue with on the other side, we come around, this is on these types here, we got our fuel pump right here. And it could be a fuel pump, it could be bad, or maybe a filter. So basically, we know it runs on ether. If I remember right, it does not have an injector pump. This is simply pressurized, it's basically pressurized cams. The cam opens and closes all the injectors. So it's a really simple system. All you need to do is get fuel pressure to that, and if the cam is aligned and the injectors are good, it'll fire. Yeah. I've actually done it before where that mechanical pump has gone out, and I just bought an electric high pressure fuel pump and put it in line, and it just bypassed it and it worked. Hopefully, since it's so simple, once it runs, the hydraulic pump goes automatically, everything should work.
Yeah.
It should be the pump probably has there might be two pumps or a dual pump, one that will run the steering separately than the rest.
Yeah.
But so basically, I got to find out if this pump is going to be pumping fuel. So I don't really want to take anything apart right here at the pump.
Alan, I'm going to let you do this, but I have a random thought for you.
Yeah.
I think you're the best person to answer this, you or Sam. How do you go to the bathroom on the top of Mount Everest?
Initially, I thought of just having a switch with a push button. I decided just to buy a whole assembly that had everything included.
Alan,
Yes.
how's it looking?
Well, the water pump was frozen, The alternator is missing, and the pulley for the air pump is missing. Now the air pump, I don't think we really need it. I think that was for like a brake lock or something, and it looks like they probably never had a hook for a long time. Yeah. The alternator missing was probably taken, somebody stole that along with our wires for scrap. Somebody stole them.
You got an alternator now?
No.
Oh.
I put a little key switch in right here so we can start it.
Yeah.
And then this is where the battery went, so I'm gonna hook up a battery, get that, so at least I can start it.
Well, nice work, Alan.
Well,
nice work.
That's just the initial
being
phase.
nice. Just being nice, Alan.
Thanks, Hans. If I wired everything correctly, this thing should start, or at least turn over. That's all I'm wanting. Exactly what I wanted to see. I have some ether. We could just see real quick if it'll run on its own after giving it a little bit. Let's try it. Well, we just need to probably open a line from that fuel pump on the other side and see if we can get some fuel to come out. It goes right at the beginning of this fuel pump right here. So now I'm going to need somebody to watch that while I start it. We got somebody that's just arrived. What?
Start her up. Yep, you got it.
Okay.
Nice job, Alan. Pal. Start her up. You got it. It's leaking. Good job.
Okay.
You got the air out. It's going in. So no fuel pump issue.
Well, we still could have a fuel pump issue. Because this is mechanically operated, the fuel pump has to put a high enough fuel pressure for the injectors to work properly. If not,
Gotcha.
what a really easy cheat in case the mechanical pump is bad is to run down to O'Reilly and buy an electrical high pressure pump and put in line.
Okay.
And then that will
Well,
determine it.
if we got to cheat, we got to cheat.
All right, but now, I mean, we're getting fuel right there. We should be seeing this thing starting. Or the issue might be if one of the safeties is on. I already checked the safeties, but and there's like an emergency shut-off like right here. And it does not look like it is. That's you pull on that to emergency shut off the engine.
Well, where are you pulling that? Up here behind it?
It's probably something's missing. Don't pull on it, because if you do that, then I have to reset it.
Just wanted to see if it worked. I think it is that one, by the way. It looks pretty loose.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to pull on it. We have fuel going in and out of the pump, going through all that, so we know it's getting in the block.
Right.
But we might not have the correct pressure.
Right.
Okay, so we might not have the correct pressure. You said that we could have an issue with the upper cam.
Yeah, for the injectors, either the cam itself is bad or this lever that goes and activates it is broken, stuck or something. I don't know.
Easy things to do.
Fall
Filter.
Yep, filter.
I guess that's the easiest thing to do right now.
Yep.
All right, let's look at the filter.
I was actually surprised on just how clean the diesel fuel was in the tank. It's not the best looking.
No.
Yeah, I think we need
a little cruddy down there.
Yeah, I think we could use a new filter.
You think we have one here?
Well, we'll have to.
I'll call Ron.
Ah, we got a number. PF 906. I'm gonna crank it a little bit and just let some stuff flow into that can.
Nothing.
Well, that's not good. How come we had fuel before and not now?
Alan, we had fuel before. Why don't we have it? Do we want to put it on there so it's actually sealed up?
No. See, this is coming directly from the pump. It should be filling that thing right up.
What if I did this? I loosened that on the bottom,
Then it just
seal
leaks
that
out.
Okay.
I just wanted to dump any bad fuel or anything. Not showing anything right here, but let me. I'm just trying to prime the pump.
So you guys know there's got some leaking fluid under there.
Yeah. I'm dribbling it down.
Could it be the fluid that I just poured out?
Nothing?
Why are we not getting it now?
I do not know.
What did we do, Alan?
I think you broke it.
No, I didn't break it. Our simple fix turned into a major disaster.
No, we've learned a few things. Which is good because now I don't have to worry about issues with the engine right now. We just have the
that's
issue with
good.
fuel delivery. That's a minor problem compared with an engine problem. What I would like to do, really, would be able to run a line from here right into a little...
Right here, I got it. I got it.
Fun.
I'm gonna go assume my station, okay?
Gonna make sure that hose is down in the fuel there. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, it looks solid. Not airy or anything. Do you want to? I'll press the button and you.
Yeah, push the button over.
Okay. Okay, so you're gonna run and get the fuel filter.
Yeah, hopefully they'll have one.
Did you find the part, or did you go home for dinner?
I'm back at the shop to grab the rest of close up my tools, but I ordered the part, so it'll be here tomorrow at 10.
All right, perfect. We are going to go then.
I've noticed something here this morning. That's not a good sign.
So you guys know there's got some leaking fluid under there.
Yeah. Man, I really need a second opinion on this.
Smells like diesel.
Seems like a hydraulic oil, but it hadn't been leaking outside, but we started it yesterday and
This is like
Yeah.
a fuel filter, no? Isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, you got your fuel tank here, you got your fuel filter here, and you're leaking fuel and hydraulic fluid, so that's why you have mixed.
Yeah, that's what I was like
That's-
confused.
That makes sense, no?
Yeah, but why did it just start
It's-
leaking now? I guess probably because we put pressure.
Because you run it and
But did somebody stick a plug in there? Oh, they did. Okay.
that's water or diesel? So clear.
Diesel.
Diesel?
It's really clean. We need a can.
Come on, Alan. How big is your tank?
Now I know why we had no fuel.
God. Okay. Tank there.
Now I know why that we weren't getting any fuel.
What's happened, Alan?
We have 2 leaks. We found out why we weren't getting fuel up there. I don't know how we got fuel to begin with.
Okay.
Must have been some in the line, but the main line here had been broken, and somebody had plugged the output of the tank with a stick.
So we were just squirting what was in line yesterday.
Yeah,
That was a lot. That was a good flow, dude.
I know.
That was a really good flow.
And then it's oily. We have another leak. The hydraulic line to the back steering is leaking a little bit. Well, actually quite a bit.
Okay.
And so that's why I couldn't figure out whether this was diesel fuel or hydraulic oil, because it's a mix of both. Well, here's the issue. When I grabbed this thing, no alternator in it. Didn't know what to put in its place. So I checked with Wiggins and gave them their data plate clear data plate, numbers, model, serial number, easy to see. But Wiggins says, well, those numbers do not exist. So we have a forklift that does not exist. A very solid forklift that does not exist. It's either that or somebody built the nameplate incorrectly, which is a Wiggins nameplate, or somebody forged the nameplate, or probably the case they lost the information at some time. But, so I told him, well, give me some information on the alternators you used during those years. Well, he gave me 2 numbers. Well, the one issue we had with leaking hydraulic, then leaking diesel, the leaking diesel was the issue we couldn't get the engine running.
Okay.
And what it was doing, the engine was running off the canister of where the fuel filter is on the frame. That's
Okay.
why we had fuel at the beginning,
Yeah.
but it's broken off to the fuel tank.
Yeah.
So the fitting of the fuel tank was broken off and somebody stuck a stick in there, okay?
Yeah.
So basically the broken off brass fitting, I managed to use an easy out, got it out, so we just
Yep.
need to put a pipe fitting in there and hook the fuel line on.
Awesome.
But while waiting, I figured I would reassemble this right here because everything here looks good with that fuel filter assembly. However,
What's big?
the biggest thing that is stopping us right now is there is something that should be here that's not.
Oh yeah. Did you figure that out?
Okay, wow. We got,
Tell us what it is. Tell us
Okay.
what it is.
so
Does anyone know? Guess in the comments below. What should go there?
we've already mentioned it once.
Well, pop quiz bonus points for
Yep,
anyone
there
who's
is.
putting in the comments right now. Alternator.
What are you doing?
Well, this is the piece that was broken off that went to the fuel tank. The other piece was broken off in the fuel tank, which I managed to use an easy out and extract. But I got to get this brass fitting off so I can reconnect this, so we will be able to use the fuel tank that's on the forklift. All right, I got this on there. Pretty darn good. Well, we got the fuel line reconnected to the fuel tank, and everything is in order. We got to reconnect this line right here. I really would like to see if I can start this. Where's Caleb? So anyway, what we're going to do now is I'm going to crank the engine and try to make sure we get all the air out up to the engine filter. So I'm going to have our cameraman Sam watch that thing while I crank on it, and when all the air stops coming out, then I'm going to close it up, and then we'll really see if it'll start.
Yeah, it's coming out.
We still might need a little bit of ether to get this thing started. See if we can get this thing to run without having to run it on ether completely. I did notice one thing. I noticed my throttle cable, my throttle lever on this mechanism here is actually activating the shutoff at the same time. This shuts the fuel off by not allowing the it disconnects the cam, I believe.
Like in an emergency or?
No, just a shut off, normal shut off.
Okay, like when you want to turn the engine off.
Yeah, and I don't think that should actually be moving when I move the throttle. I'm wondering if there's something wrong with this. At this time, the only thing I can think of, we're still running here. We're not running from it's onboard fuel tank because I want to make sure I got a good source of fuel, no leaking.
Mm-hmm.
So that pump could be weak and we're not putting enough pressure for this to work. Or maybe this is not working right. This is one part I'm not that familiar with. I know basically, the diesel engines, how they work. I couldn't tear them apart if I had to, but I don't really have very much experience tearing them down. I do know what I need to do to get things working and repair, but it will be something new because I've never worked on that particular unit ever before. So I'm gonna have to look into this, and when I get back, we can continue on. Well, it's still like the engine is not getting fuel. I put on a boost pump to hook to the main pump, and it's just not getting fuel. So we're thinking that the shutoff, this is supposed to operate better. It's not working right, and it's supposed to hit a cam, rotate the cam so it disables all the injectors, and I'm thinking it's stuck in disable. So we got 4 bolts to take off. Wow. Yeah, but the ones on the other side are a giant Phillips screwdriver. I always hate it when half the gasket sticks to one side and half of it sticks to the other side.
Let's get open this door.
I think we're going to keep the doors closed today as much as possible.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hold on, you said, Alan, pull the valve cover off.
Yes.
Teaching moment for me because I don't know what we're looking at now. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. So, pull the valve cover off. Then you said you instantly know. What are you looking for?
Well, I have to look. This lever does a thing such that this cam disables the injector pump, because normally we can probably turn it here and see what happens. See if this thing's moving. So you're away from all moving parts, the fan blade and everything?
Yeah, close enough.
Okay. This lever is supposed to adjust this cam to push these here to shut off the injectors, and it's not moving no matter which position I'm in it. It's just barely moving. Something here is jammed, so I gotta figure out which way to turn this to allow the injectors to operate, because right now this is the shutoff, and it should be moving this cam quite a bit, and it ain't moving. It's not moving at all. This little pin here, this right here runs that. So if I pull this pin out and let that rotate, I can use this manually and maybe see if we can get the engine to run. Well, I know what the problem is. Some here in this cam assembly up here. If you notice, what I got here is that's off, and I pull it, and that's shut off. That's on. All right, no, that's on. That's off. Let me see here. So that's off. This is on, and it is. So there's something bound up in here. It's really hard. It should not be that difficult. I've never taken one of these apart, but I knew just from reading and technical specs how it should work. And with the shutoff cam, it should, to me, I would expect it to move really freely, and it wasn't moving freely. But there's something binding in there. I think maybe one of the injectors is bad.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Oh, okay.
I took the pin off.
Oh, you took the
I
pin
took the
off?
pin out. Oh.
Try it. Try it.
Oh. So all the way this way is on. So you fixed it. How'd you fix it? You just pushed it
Push
and
it, no.
popped it. Well, look at that. It was really hard for me to move. Chris comes in, gives it a whack, and suddenly it's moving freely. So something bound it up. We don't know what. But how do you like my on and off lever? Vice grips.
Vice grip.
Vice grips. And I have all different types with different claws to grab different ways.
Oh yeah.
So right here I've got 3. Look at, I got a vice grip down here holding the ground wire. I got a vice grip there holding the positive wire. Vice grips to hold this. I have piles of vice grips.
So
All
put
right.
the pin in it?
Yep, I'm gonna go grab the pin. It's right over here. Hold it. All right. Oh, that's off. This should be on. Yeah. Okay. We got it working, and we got it working with its own levers. So apparently there must have been sitting, or a piece of dirt or something was in one of the connections to the injectors, and I was forcing it back and forth, but Chris gave it a good whack and it came free. Trying to be really careful not to damage any of the gaskets. That's really nice on these old machines. They're really pretty simple. I mean, no injection pump. Just got a cam there. Things jam up, you just replace it. Everything's accessible from the top here. I mean, 4 bolts. I mean, that's super simple. I'm rather impressed with their design. At least one thing, I have several machines out at the Mountain Fortress Labs that have the same engine. So now if I have an issue like that, I know what to look for. I still don't want to hook up to the main tank yet until I have the engine running really good. Then once everything's all running, we got the coolant, we got the alternator and all that, then I'll just reconnect onto the main tank. Nice and shiny. That's apparently a Chevy alternator from the 80s, and it fit perfectly in. After searching around for the oddball alternator for it, the ones they had before had a voltage regulator. I didn't want to deal with it. This one's got the built-in voltage regulator, much simpler. Hooked up the wiring to it. It fit with the belts that it came with, so I didn't have to buy any new belts. Yeah, I ordered it with the dual pulley on it, and that was cheap. That was like $89, that whole assembly. Then this morning I put antifreeze in it, and then we just put the shutoff cable on it. So I want to actually start it up and see if even the hydraulics will operate here. But I also want to check to make sure the alternator is working, so I'm going to grab the voltmeter. Wow, my alternator isn't alternating. It's not generating any power. Oh. Well, that's the reason. This one does need a regulator. I thought this one was completely set up to be internal. So I have to find a regulator for it. What I didn't notice, the paper they gives us an alternator performance curve. And it will not produce over 12 volts until you get about, looking at this, about 1200 RPM. This is a diesel engine and it's idling quite a bit lower than that. So the guy at Action put this on the machine, said at 1500 RPM it would start to excite and produce power, which makes sense according to this performance curve. And he said the issue with that is these one wire internally regulated ones need enough speed to produce enough voltage to actually activate its circuitry, which I was not aware about that. So the problem would be is this is a forklift. Forklifts almost are always just idling all the time. Nobody's hardly ever revving it or going very fast. So the option is they provide these 2 connections here, and I went to O'Reilly to get this pigtail. One of these, R for the regulator and F for field. Basically, I'm told if I give the regulator in the field some power to begin with, then at idle, it'll knock this curve up and actually produce power. So we can make it produce power at a lower RPM by giving it some extra. So on the R, I am going to have to hook this wire to the ignition, because if you just hook it to the battery, it's going to drain the battery. And this one right here, they say it will be connected directly just to positive all the time. So I just need to make a little connection right here to connect this here, and then run a wire from here to the switch where it says ignition. So if when it's off, it provides no power, and as soon as you click the key on and give it ignition, it'll power the regulator. So I have to do a little more wiring in order to make this thing run and produce power at a lower RPM. So I'm going to put this thing back on and then start getting our wire stuff, and then create a new harness. Battery powered. Let's see if we can produce some power. Right now it's 1258, 12 volts, 12.58. Excellent. Producing voltage at the lower RPM now, and when revved up it goes right to in the 14 volt range, so it's perfect. As long as I got the wires connected properly, we'll be good. What I actually want to do is see if I can make one of the forks go up. So 2 of the rams need new seals. The little one there is really easy. That one shouldn't take long to do the seals. This other one here, it's huge. We just got to get the top loose so I can pull the rod out. Once I can get the rod out, that's easy. Now we know that works. The next thing to do is see if this thing will move back and forth. Be interested to see how the brakes work. Power brakes operate on compressed air, but that's not working now. But the master cylinder still are, so we should have brakes. Just probably hard to push on it. All right, let's get this thing running. Basically see how much damage we can do. Seems to run pretty good. Definitely the hydraulic cylinders, probably all 3 of them are going to have to be repacked, because it's also slowly drooping down and tipping forward. It's either that or the valve body is leaking, but usually it's the rams and not the valve body. Well, I guess this will be it for this video today. We're just going to conclude. We got this thing up and running. We know that we've got, like, the base foundation is a great little unit. A lot of little things still need to be taken care of on it, but that's going to be it for this one. So subscribe if you like this thing here. If you like the video, hit the like button too. And there's always notifications. So I'll see you on the next video.
Listen, Alan's the hero. We knew it was going to start, but you know what's going to end? The giveaway for the John Wayne 68 Camper Special. You want to own it. I know you do, so you need to go to the John Wayne website right now, make a donation, get some swag, do something so that you can own that beautiful pickup truck, and together we can help fight cancer. But it's ending soon. Don't miss out on your chance to help the world out, and don't miss out on your chance to own that truck.